أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعه وسلم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So last week we started discussing our third description of Qur'an, which was the commentator of the book of the worlds of the seen and the unseen. And as we were discussing, we were puzzled a little bit. What do we mean by unseen? What do we mean by ghayb? Qur'an mentions ghayb, but what does Qur'an mean when it says ghayb? And again, the way we have been studying this discussion so far, we are trying to identify Qur'an with specific examples from Qur'an. And Qur'an was now coming up with news of ghayb, and now we are reading Qur'an as the commentator of the ghayb, the world of the seen and unseen. So ghayb and shahada. So last time we brought up this. Last time we brought up this very beginning set of verses for Qur'an. Alif Lam Mim ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. This is the book, and it is guidance sure without doubt to those who fear Allah or who are conscious of Allah, muttaqin. الذين يؤمنون بالغيب, who believe in the unseen. ويقيمون الصلاة, and establish worship. ومما رزقناهم ينفقون, and spend of that we have bestowed upon them. والذين يؤمنون بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك وبالآخرة هم يوقنون, and who believe in the revelation sent to you and sent before you and are certain of the hereafter. So let's try to contain what we have been discussing last week. So here, belief for the unseen, for the ghayb, belief is being mentioned, not the knowledge. So it's not that you know the unseen, but it is belief in the unseen. And when it comes to matters of belief, let's think about what it is. Belief in God, as we know of, belief in God, belief in scriptures, belief in prophets, belief in angels, resurrection, and qadar. These are at least the bare minimum, if you like, items of belief matters. There are details. Quran mentions many more stuff, but these are the fundamental items of belief. So in the light of these and this verse, what do we mean when we say belief? In prior discussions, we mentioned that belief in Quran, like iman in Quran, is different than the word belief in English. The word iman connotates certainty. You should be certain about it. But then, what does it mean to be certain about the unseen? To be more precise, let me broaden the question as such, because when we say being certain about God, what do we mean? So I keep that question. And your answer, how does your answer resemble when it becomes belief in the prophet? What is ghayb in prophet, for example? Because again, it's a matter of belief, to believe in prophet. Whatever is our description of ghayb, as it applies to belief in God, or iman billah, should apply to iman bil Rasul. What is it? Any comments?
So the question is how we can be certain about unseen, right? That's the first question.
That's right. How can we be sure about the unseen? But in the case that unseen, what is unseen in the prophets also? Because we are going to be sure and secure about belief in the unseen, but the same unseenness, whatever you will say about the unseen, because the word unseen is what we are trying to unpack. the translation is not doing a good job here, because unseen means if I haven't seen any, like something that was behind this, what do I call it? Mural, behind this mural. So I believe there are ghosts in there, or I believe there is a donkey in there, whatever. So, I mean, or an elephant. So probably elephant is going to be a better example, elephant in the room. So unseen. So if I were to see it, is this a matter of iman, belief? Because unseen sounds like to my senses. But belief in prophet is also something, and people saw prophets. If you were to say that, okay, belief in angels, because we haven't seen angels, but is it something about only the senses, or what is it? So I guess I have two questions. One is, what does it mean to believe in the unseen? But your answer should be considering that unseen doesn't simply mean visually or by touching or sensing, seeing something. Because in the case of prophets, people saw and touched that person, yet they were supposed to believe in him as a prophet. Yeah.
So yeah, like the question is about the belief part.
Yeah.
Like, how do we believe in the unseen? Knowing that the same word for believe is used for something that we did see.
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah.
That is, some people are not familiar with your, implicit assertion that iman is always unseen.
Okay.
So maybe we should start from the belief in unseen, how we can be certain about the unseen.
Okay, good. Thank you.
You can share your implicit assertion.
Okay. So belief, sorry for a little bit of repetition again there. So belief happens to unseen. But what do we mean as it differs from the English word belief? Okay, let me rephrase. Iman only happens to unseen. Let me rephrase it again, sorry, as we are bouncing between languages. Iman only happens to ghayb.
What's ghayb?
Ghayb is unseen, but it's not unseen. This is what we are trying to unpack. This is why I'm intentionally using the Arabic term in there. So instead of belief, I use iman because they are different. Like the English connotation of belief is different than our Quranic connotation of iman. And then English connotation of unseen is different than Quranic connotation of ghayb. Okay? So statement number one. Iman only happens to ghayb. Okay? Number one. Number two. Iman is different than belief. Because iman is certainty. In English, belief is, I think this is a good guy. Like this wishy-washy meaning of belief is there. When Qur'an is using the term iman, there has to be certainty, because the word itself is indicating surety, amniya. Ghayb, now first part is done. Second part, ghayb is different than unseen. And iman only happens to ghayb. Let's pick one example so that maybe it gets a little open. I do see a baby being made out of some insignificant matter. So some action I observe. And I look at the apparent actors of this action, and I see parents. They don't know what was about to happen. So that's why they cannot claim that we made her. And it's not only that, she's constantly being updated 24/7. She's changing moment by moment. She's changing. Then I say, okay, parents out of the window. But then maybe the particles, whatever she eats, makes her. No, they are even less conscious than the parents. At least parents are intellectual beings. The particles, the carrot that she eats, is totally oblivious to what's going on. What makes her? I would then say, I mean, I'm fast forwarding all our discussions. Whatever makes her must be aware of the whole existence. Our example for this one was the way the eye functions is in relation to the sun over there. So whatever is moving a particle to the eye and making the eye must be powerful, so much so that the same power will rotate the sun. This is why the one who makes the eye must be as strong to make the sun. This is our conclusion about such a powerful one must exist, but such a one is not to be found anywhere. So our conclusion is about outside of this existence, not part of this existence, because I couldn't find him in here. That's why I said La ilaha, like it's not carrot, it's not parents, it's not the particle itself. But there must exist such a being, illallah. So my conclusion is there in ghayb. So in this case, ghayb is not something that cannot be, that is not seen, but it rather is cannot be encapsulated, cannot be known, because by cannot, I mean, if it was something knowable, meaning it has a shape, it has a color, this is what we mean by knowledge, it's beyond this. Because if it was, I would say, oh yeah, carrot. But anything that is in here, in this domain, in this existence, didn't match this action over there. Therefore, I said there must exist a maker, but the maker is nothing like this. So in this case, the maker is in ghayb, meaning unknowable. And know in this case means containable. When I say containable, does it make sense? Because to say something is red is containing it in the spectrum of colors. You are saying that it is here. Like, do not only think about containing as physically containing something. In the domain of colors, you can contain something. So I say, no, all my boundaries, all my limits are thrown off because I couldn't put my finger on it anywhere. But such a thing must exist. That's all I know. Therefore, I say there must exist a maker. So this is belief or iman billah, and Allah in this case is being the ghayb. Okay, and this example should clarify what we mean by iman only happens to ghayb. Iman is not a matter of knowledge. We do not know God in this sense, meaning we are not putting any boundary. We are saying that he must exist. What is he like? I don't know. Now, this is one example of iman bil ghayb. I mean, this requires a lot of repetition with examples, but we are fast forwarding. Now, and by those examples, we are also building up the concept of ghayb. This is why we are studying it. So keep that in mind as well. Let's take the example of الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ, and in the next verse, وَالَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْكَ. So whatever is revealed to you, they believe in this. What do we mean by that? What is ghayb, for example, in this revelation? With the same token that we talked about, Allah is ghayb. Now we are talking about a text which is written over here, and we are saying that iman in this text. What is ghayb when it comes to text? Likewise, I mean, you can answer any of those. This was one question. An alternative question is, what is ghayb in believing in the messenger or iman in messenger? Like a human being, let's imagine Prophet was standing here. I mean, it doesn't necessarily need that, oh, he's dead, this is why it is belief in that. No, it's not. We changed the description of ghayb, right? Let's assume Prophet was standing here, but still you say, I believe, or I bear witness that you are messenger of God. What is ghayb here? A third question can be asked, belief in angels. What is ghayb in here? Again, it shouldn't be that, oh, I haven't seen any angels with my naked eye. This is why it's a belief. I mean, I haven't seen wireless signals with my naked eyes either, but it's not ghayb for me. Natalia and then Brother Rika.
So, relation, the level we've been discussing makes me feel of believing in the necessity for God speaking to you and the iman that this is the word of God, of that who makes the baby.
Okay, so let me then paraphrase as much as I understand. So belief in scripture means my maker must talk to me, and also بما أنزل إليك وما أنزل من قبلك, and must have talked to those before me. My creator must talk to me, and my creator must have talked to those who came before me. This is iman in speech. Does this make sense? What is ghayb in this sense? It's a conclusion that I make based on what I see. So my conclusion is being that I am being made, let's put some neutral word, I am being made in a way that I communicate through speech. I didn't choose to be like this. I found myself to be a being which can understand speech. And I have a ton of questions in this life. Where did I come from? Where am I going to? Why am I here? Why all bad things happen to me? Why innocent children are being killed? Like a dozen, billions of questions I have. And I barely scratched the surface trying to understand or find answers by myself. So I say, it looks like whomever made me is a wise maker, so much so that all my needs are being satisfied. Like my cells need nutrients, they are being provided. My stomach needs food. Springtime comes, all the sustenance is being provided. How about the questions of my heart and my mind? I need answers. And those answers, it looks like the way he set me is by communication, by speech. So I do expect my maker to talk to me. So this expectation is that there must exist speech. So it's in the unseen. This fact that my maker should talk to me is in the unseen. Brother,
if you don't mind, I can talk about some very general stuff. It becomes so boring.
okay.
So the question is why you are putting all this effort to define or even redefine things. Like just translate iman as belief, ghayb as unseen, and just be with it. Like why you are struggling there. I think this is extremely important, not only important what you are doing, because when we read Qur'an, idea is not that it's a book written in Arabic, and if you know Arabic, just read the Arabic, you will understand. Or if not, read a reliable, let's say, tafsir, the translation, and you will understand. This is not the case. Like even the companions who lived with Prophet, and they were very fluent in Arabic, like it was their language. When they hear such ayahs and so on, they ask Prophet, what does this word mean? Right? What does Quran refer to when it says X, Y, and Z and so forth? They knew Arabic. But they were trying to understand what, like, the word ghayb means. Or when they hear the belief, for instance, they didn't just translate it into their language, the use of in the daily use of their language. They try to understand what it means from the Quranic the framework, like within Quranic context, what it means. We have to do that. Even if you know Arabic, you have to ask this question what it means within Quranic. So, and why it is important practically. Like if we take ghayb as unseen, let's read it as this. Those who believe in unseen. There's no single person on earth who does not believe in unseen. And a door is knocked, everybody knows there must be someone behind it. The person is unseen, but you believe that there's someone behind it, right? You hear a tweet, chirping, whatever, you say, well, there must be a bird. And you can extend all these examples. So there's no one who doesn't believe in unseen anybody. Half of the ayah wasted. Like those who believe in unseen, yeah, what are you talking about? Like everybody knows that. Right? There must be something else. What is unseen? That is only applicable to those who are God conscious, muttaqin. Only those are believing in unseen. Right? The same way, like when we read ayahs, like we sent down water up from skies to feed the plants and so on and so forth. If you read it as literal translation, yeah, everybody knows that the rain is coming from up. Right? Why you are telling me this? And when you read it carefully, you will see the emphasis is somewhere else. We send. Right? The ayah is teaching you something so usual to you. Actually, it doesn't happen by itself. You thought it was happening by itself. The circulation of the water or whatever. No, it is us sending it down, correcting something. So the same goes here as well. We think we know the dictionary meaning of the word, but the ayah says, no, you don't. I will teach you. Right? I'm not talking about your dictionaries, the ayah says. I will teach you. Start with God consciousness and so on. So it is so important to ask the questions that Brother Yusuf asked. The same way, the belief. If you iman, if you translate it into English like right away, it becomes belief. And the way belief is used in almost any culture in the world, in speaking English, would be very weak mental state. It's like a mere acceptance of things. Right? If you go to any formal, the studies with the belief, knowledge, and so on and so forth, they would say, for instance, knowing things is believing in things if it is true and justifiable and so on and so forth. The belief itself is so weak. Right? This is how it is translated. But Quran, when Quran uses it, the belief is so certain, makes you stand on your feet. Right? As Brother Yusuf is saying, belief in Arabic, actually, the word iman is about the security. So one example comes to my mind that I shared before with some of you is that there's a device in my basement which blinks light, right? So I see that it's blinking, and I have knowledge now, right? That I see the blinking, it's moving. I'm knowing that it blinks. I know that it emits light. I checked the device everywhere. I couldn't find connection, like a power connection. I couldn't find it, but it blinks. I say there must be a power source somewhere. I don't care if I can see it or not. I'm not talking about light now, but just right? Take the example only for I don't care whether I see it or not, whether somebody shows me that he can hold the device with no connection. I don't care. I see the blinking, I see the light, I think there must be a power source in some shape. So this there must be part is evil. Right? I'm so secure about it. I don't care what arguments you come with, what the mathematical expressions, whatever you bring in front of me. You cannot shape my because I see that it's blinking. So the same way, when I see a beautiful flower, for instance, I say that there must be something, I don't care what it is, but there must be something that gave rise to this flower. And whatever gave rise to this flower, right, must be knowing about my eyes as well, the earth as well, the water as well, the sun as well, because they are all in that. I don't care what you say, what you bring me, and so on and so forth. I am certain that there must be someone who is all knowing, meaning knowing about everything that I can think of, all knowing, and all beautiful, meaning the source of the every beauty that I see, and so on and so forth. I am certain about that. This is belief. Okay? And when it comes to the ghayb, the unseen part, as Brother Yusuf said, the Qur'an says the only God conscious ones have belief in unseen. Because what it means by in this context is that you look around the seen realm, your universe, entire universe that you can think of, even the hidden elephant, it's a seen thing, right? It's a part of this universe. You look at this universe and come to some conclusions, beliefs. There must be, right? Whatever these conclusions refer to, that is not part of this universe. This is the ghayb. Whatever this universe points to, other than itself, this is ghayb. You have access to this universe, you don't have access to what they refer to. But you are certain that there must be something because they are referring. Just like my blinking light refers to a power source. Right? Power source is not the same type of this blinking or light. So it's not the same thing, but I think that there must be. So this referring point, which is not part of this universe, is the Bible.
So then, let's take examples. Here we talked about belief in the unseen for the Creator. We talked about belief in the unseen for speech. Belief in the unseen for the Prophet. Let's take speech and Prophet together and tie it to muttaqin, taqwa. Taqwa in this case is God conscious. So what does this mean? Only the God conscious is going to be able to believe in the unseen, will have certainty in the unseen. You have a comment there? Go ahead.
Kind of what we were, like, this is what I was thinking of as we were trying to distinguish between belief and iman. And for me, what I was thinking, like, belief, when you were saying, like, say, oh, somebody knocks on the door, we know somebody's behind the door, right? When thinking about, like, the English meaning of belief, I was thinking, like, of, like, the quote, out of sight, out of mind, right? Where it's like that very weak thing where if it's not in our sight, if it's not in our mind, then it like doesn't exist. Whereas when I think of iman, like regardless of whether it's like in our face, as in, say we're doing something that's specifically practicing Islam, right? Whether it's that or whether it's something that is like our daily life. But even like, say, like all the examples that we're using, like even like seeing like a flower and thinking like, oh, this must have a creator. This must be like the same creator that gave me the eyesight to see this flower. Like that certainty that comes, I feel like that's what makes it like that Iman part, where every single thing that you do, you can tie it back to that certainty. Whereas like the English belief that we were referring to, where it is very much like out of sight, out of mind.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's good. Thank you. And in terms of knowledge part, like when it comes to saying that I believe in the creator, I am saying that I am sure such a one must exist, but I don't know what he is like. This distinction is important though. Because when we say in our practical life, we know means I give a shape to it. I give a limitation to it. But Iman in this case is that such a one must exist, but I don't know what he is like. That's an important distinction though. So when it comes to being God conscious, let's put another small anecdote on God conscious. You're in this existence and you experience that things are happening. There must exist a maker, a doer, like something. This is best exemplified by Ibrahim alayhi salam's journey, but we need to go through this journey as well. That's why this example is given. So consider yourself in this story. So he realizes that things are being maintained. What maintains me is his question. Then he says, oh, it is the star. No, it is the moon. No, it is the sun. But then realizes that none of them is capable of taking care of this super complex and harmonious being who I am, who is being made together with the rest of the existence. He said, none of them are my maker, but yet there must exist a maker. This initial quest of there must exist someone is God consciousness. You are saying that there must be something doing this. But then one step ahead, you are saying that it cannot be sun, it cannot be moon. In our example, it cannot be carrot, it cannot be parents, like Ibrahim alayhi salam's moon, sun, and whatnot. Or if you are studying biology, you should be able to say it cannot be the genes, it cannot be random chance. Like none of them make sense, but yet there has to be someone. As I am conscious, if you like, the doors of unseen opens to me. Because then I am saying that the existence do not consist of this realm only. Because I say there must exist a maker who is not here, who is not like anything like this. This is how Qur'an is opening us a new door to a new type of existence. Because, I mean, think about how we have been studying for the past 3 weeks. This is the 4th, I believe. So Quran is presenting this existence to us in a totally different way. The way we study with sciences is what? World is only one-dimensional, which is whatever I can measure, whatever I can experience. But now what Quran is saying is, whatever you experience, does it explain what is happening in here? You couldn't explain how the baby is happening, how the baby is happening. Not parents, not the carrot, not the genes, none of these. Yet baby is happening. There must exist someone beyond this existence who makes the baby. So Quran gives us this open, makes us know about, or introduces ghayb to us. This is the proper word. Quran introduces ghayb to us, saying that such a realm exists. Do not be one-dimensional. One-dimensional meaning do not be just verbally saying that it's only this existence, nothing beyond. Yes.
Quick like clarification. It feels to like when you say that the Quran introduces ghayb, does it mean like the details of it? Because it feels like with on the journey of Ibrahim alayhi salam, he determined that there like there is an unseen. And so are you saying that Quran tells us about it in detail? Because otherwise the idea should be introduced, or we should if we're curious, we should find that.
Yeah.
Right.
So in the first two stages that we studied, first we said that Quran introduces the universe as a book. In the second stage, Quran was introducing the universe as a tongue that speaks. Now, Quran is introducing the universe to us, saying that it doesn't consist only of shahada, the seen, but also of ghayb. So now we are adding a third layer to the existence as Quran is introducing it to us. So that's what I mean by Quran is introducing ghayb. Then in the next one, the fourth, for example, we will start talking about divine names, which is now we are detailing ghayb. Belief in prophets is part of ghayb. Belief. But how come? The verse is here. That is sent to you and sent before you. So revelation is sent to human, but the recipient is a messenger, another human being. So when I say I believe that Muhammad والسلام, is messenger of God, there is ghayb in here. Ghayb in here is that it's not that this flesh and bones, it's that my maker must send me a human example. So it's related to taqwa, God consciousness. What is the component of belief, ghayb? What is the component of iman bil ghayb when it comes to prophethood? It is that this human being must have been sent to me by my maker. So it has an aspect that looks to the creator. This is the ghayb aspect of it. Otherwise, we are not talking about, this person has a certain stamp on his body. Oh yeah, he's the guy that I'm looking for. Like it's not a knowledge in the sense that I am measuring and saying that, we got the guy. The point is, like Natalia, you were mentioning, when it comes to belief in the speech. Otherwise, speech is written with ink and paper as well. Nothing ghayb in this case. It's really tangible. Like people are burning Quran, right? So something touchable, tangible, nothing unseen. It's right in front of your eyes. But this text being speech of God, if you were to be introduced with this text, and you said that this must be speech of my creator, it cannot be otherwise. As Brother Birkan was saying, now we are pointing to the maker who is beyond this realm. When you see the messenger, human being, you say that this guy is not lying by himself. What he speaks out must be coming from my maker. Again, pointing to the unseen. This is why it is ghayb. And we will come to angels in a second.
So again, going back to companions of the Prophet. So they believe in the Prophet receiving revelation. Some of them were even next to him when he received revelation. But they didn't see him receiving revelation. They would see him, for instance, just standing, or sometimes shaking, vibrating, whatever. But it's his body that they saw. But they believe that they receive their revelation from God. So these beliefs, the object of the belief then, is something that they don't know, they don't see. But whatever comes out of his mouth, they judge, the message and say that it must be coming from the Creator. So he must be receiving. It must be true that he is receiving a revelation. So belief in prophet, in that sense, for instance, is belief in God, because not even the companion sitting next to him, saw him receiving the revelation. The same way, the scripture, as you said, being speech of God, but we don't see it. God speaking, whatever it means, we don't even know what it means, God speaking. It must be the way that I speak and so on. But I still believe that there must be this, whatever is written here, must be coming from my Creator. My Creator is speaking, quote unquote, which is something unseen to me. Hence, believing Scripture, again, is a belief in God, the answer. But we do have these beliefs based on things that we know. The belief itself is not knowledge, but the base on things we know. I look at the Scripture, it's something I know, the Scripture itself, I can read it. I judge it based on my experiences that I know. And I say it must be coming from my Creator, the Creator of the entire universe. Based on what I know, I come to a conclusion, which I call as belief, in something that I don't know, that I don't have access to. But it's not, as Brother Yusuf rightfully emphasized at the very beginning, it's not wishful thinking. It's not that just a leap of faith. Let's believe in it, and good things will happen. Right? It's based on what you know. Hence the certainty.
And then وَبِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ يُقِنُونَ, and upon afterlife, they are certain. This is again part of unseen. And Prophet mentions, like Qur'an describes paradise, provides description of what these gardens look like, describes hell, what it looks like. Yet Prophet ﷺ says, and Qur'an also says, whatever you think about it, it's different than that. But you describe it, yet you say it's not like anything. So what does this mean? This description is not to give a shape to it, but so that it's describing the things also you can experience in here, with which you will say there must exist something. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I am sure it must exist. Because in this life, if I curse someone, if I mistreat someone, I am even starting to have this weird feelings in me, like I feel very sorry. Although I don't want to just seek forgiveness or say, oh, sorry, but still, I feel like I'm burning deep inside. Then I say, oh, because I broke the connection between this person and my Creator, because this person was acting in a way, then I mistreated him, not seeing this person as an envoy of my Creator. The fire starting burning in me, even in here. So I said, there must exist a consequence of me hurting him, not because I can taste it in here. Just imagine what would happen once I graduate from this life. I don't know what it's going to look like, but there must exist such an afterlife. So this was another example, and I will call this the end with the ghayb part. But I would like to start talking about names a little bit so that we make an initiation for next week. Alhamdulillah, Fatir as-samawati wal-ard. All praise be to Allah, who created the heavens and the earth. جَعِلِ الْمَلَائِكَةَ رُسُلًا أُولِي أَجْنِحَةٍ مَثْنَى وَثُلَاثَ وَرُبَاعَ. Who made the angels messengers with wings, 2 or 3 or 4. يزيد في الخلق ما يشاء إن الله على كل شيء قدير. He adds to creation as he pleases. For Allah has power over all things. Now, angels are being mentioned in here. And again, it's an article of faith to say that there must exist angels. And now angels are being brought to my attention here as messengers with wings, messengers with aspects. But it's, if you like, sandwiched in between Fatir as-samawati wal-ard, the creator of the heavens and the earth, and also يزيد في الخلق ما يشاء, increases in creation. So angels as messengers are being presented to me in between creator of the heavens and the earth and the creation. He increases it in creation. So then ask the question, of course, here. There are those angels as messengers with wings. To whom do they carry messages? Again, belief in angels should be tied back to God consciousness, as we were mentioning in the previous slide, in the previous verse. For God conscious, only God conscious will be able to believe or have security in angels. So what would that mean? I do see a flower. And if I ask the question, what does this flower mean? What would my nihilist friend would say? What meaning are you talking about? There's no meaning in this universe. You, at best, you give your own meaning, they would say. See, like it's just the random chance happening in this universe, no meaning. Actually, it's your interpretation. You see it a flower, it's just a bunch of atoms, actually. This is how our materialist world will look at it, would say that there's no purpose, no meaning, no nothing in this existence. But now, the way Qur'an is introducing it to me, saying that all praise be to the one who makes heavens and the earth. Fatir al-samawat, in this case, is who gives the fatir and fitra. Probably you have heard the word fitra quite a bit, like giving the nature of things, creating, but giving them their nature. Again, another problematic word, nature, in English, right? Because when we say nature, it's natural, meaning it belongs to itself. But fatir, in this case, says it has a quote-unquote nature, but it doesn't belong to itself. It is given to it. So who is fatir? The fatir is the one who creates them, heavens and the earth, but not just to create or just to happen. As angels, they are message bearers, meaning flower is not just a flower. Flower is having another dimension which carries to you a message from its maker. Again, referring to its maker. How we said messenger, I believe messenger is a messenger, because it was something touchable to me, right? A human being, but this human being, a messenger from my creator, was what made him prophet. That's why we said belief in prophet. Now, belief in angels when it comes to a flower. Saying that this flower carries me a message from my maker. It is an aspect, a dimension. It's a message bearer. It's not a meaningless, stupid flower which is going to rot. Every flower, every event has an angel associated with it, must have an angel, meaning must have a message associated with it as it refers to my maker. This is belief in angels. So Qur'an is now what? Introducing me ghayb. Angels makes what in this case? The whole universe becomes a meaningful message from my maker to me, if I am conscious. That's why it's an article of Iman. Angels is an article of Iman, which means everything in this existence is a messenger. Belief in prophet means also among humans specifically, there's a messenger for you. But flower is a messenger for you. The event you were walking today, stumbled upon something, you hitting the stone was a messenger for you. Don't just say that, oh, it's just random. Yep, it's my bad luck. And I will stop here in terms of ghayb. Any comments before we pass to the next topic?
It's kind of ugly.
Go ahead.
Understanding things to be messengers does not necessarily explain what the message is.
That's correct. That's correct. But you will take them serious now. What do you have to say me? Because now we are at the third description of Qur'an. We said Qur'an is opening up a door to us, saying that this universe has a ghayb aspect. Now I'm curious, because so far you studied college, and in college even you did a minor in philosophy. Shame on you. So you put so much effort to study which aspect of this universe? The observable aspect of this universe, the seen part of the universe. Our secular education, does it teach us anything about the ghayb? Now, Qur'an is coming up and saying that, let me introduce you seen and unseen, or shahada and ghayb, because this shahada is useful as much as you realize how it points to the ghayb. Otherwise, it's useless.
Honestly, the philosophy deals with more of the unseen than my actual nature.
Not sure about this, because by its disposition, again, you're using the term unseen as the elephant behind the mural.
Yeah.
Because
what about values? Values are not physical, tangible things. Truth.
Not tangible.
Still part of this universe, the way it is defined.
It's trying to stay within the domain, the existence itself.
So the point is, I think it's a great point. The point here, what Qur'an is thinking about, is that whatever you observe, experience, whether material or immaterial, doesn't matter. Whatever you observe, you can take it as it is in itself. You can say that this is a jacket, this is a tie, this is a human first body, but and this is love, this is, I don't know, anger. You can just take them as they are in themselves. This is the shahada. Or you can take them as telling me something other than themselves, pointing to some truth. Right? Everything you observe in this universe, you see a mom taking care of a child, or a father taking care of a child. You can take it as it is. Say that, oh yeah, the parents have this tendency or compassion, whatever, to be nice to their children. You read it as in itself. And you can talk about the genes, the chemicals, and so on, enabling that. Or you say that, okay, I see an example of compassion in front of me, right? And I cannot attribute to this body, the meat and bone. There must be something that gives rise to this creation. And this something must be compassionate. Now you take the thing in front of you as a letter, as a sentence, referring to a message, referring to something other than itself. Right? Even the philosophy would deal with how a parent can be compassionate and so on and so forth within this realm. There's nothing that they refer to. That's the key with the right.
And you
I was just questioning, this is very tangential, but why it's not ja'ala but ja'il, right? I was thinking about it and then realized it's also the fatwi. So it's as if this is my impression. We need the expert opinion here, but my impression when we say Alhamdulillah, Fatir Samawat wal Ard, it's like this whatever is happening in Samawat and Ard, as you said, giving nature the fitrah, it happens all the time, right? It's his inherent quality that giving the fitrah, the Fatir is supplied. The same form is used for the angels, the bringing angels. It is as if, this angel, whatever it is, again, happening all the time, like in everything
Mm.
you see.
Yeah.
There is no, the other day,
It's not occasionally.
yes, it's not occasionally. It's not that, there are 4 angels or 500 angels or 500,000 angels, whatever. No, everything you see in this samawat and ard, there is the bringing angel part as well in everything. There's a narration from.
So before you continue there, then can we say that Natalia receives angels as well?
Yes, if you.
Is subject to angels,
Yes.
if and only if she is conscious.
Yeah, exactly. Like everything, she's surrounded by angels.
Everywhere.
Yes,
But
within everything.
if she listens to them.
Yes. The narration from Prophet, I guess last Friday, it was narrating. He says, there is no space in the universe, in earth, whatever he says, the book, I don't know. There is no space which is, as wide as your arm or your, what is it called, this thing that you measure?
Handspan?
A handspan, yes, this. Your, the hand or handspan, or he gives some other measures, like your feet. Says there's no such space in the creation that is not filled by angels.
Hmm.
So there's no gap in the creation without angels. So this Jail or remind us of that. Like whatever it is being created, it comes with an angel.
And for those who are interested in the Janah part, like wings, 2, 3, 4 wings, what is wings? Inshallah, this is for a future discussion. Yeah, let's leave it there, so that you have appetite for a future in-depth discussion for belief in angels. So now I'll go with the a new description of Qur'an, as now Qur'an is revealing us divine names. Revealer of the treasuries of the divine names hidden in the heavens and on the earth. So my question in here would be, yes, Quran keeps using divine names quite a bit. And let me, like if you just open Surah Fatiha, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, just the verse number, like we count Bismillah there, verse number 3. Anyone, Ismi Allah, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim, verse number 1. Open the first page, first verse, in the name of Allah, Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. So everywhere in Quran is filled up with divine names. So it is super important in Quran. And I'll bring a few examples next week. So let's think about them for an entire week. So let's read this verse. وَلَقَدْ ذَرَأْنَا لِجَهَنَّمَ كَثِيرًا مِنَ الْجِنِّ وَالْإِنسِ. And certainly we have created for hell many of the jinn and mankind. Very interesting verse. لهم قلوب لا يفقهون بها ولهم أعين لا يبصرون بها ولهم آذان لا يسمعون بها. They have hearts with which they fail to understand, and they have eyes with which they fail to see, and they have ears with which they fail to hear. Very interesting. أولئك كالأنعام بل هم أضل أولئك هم الغافلون. They are like cattle, indeed even more astray. Such are utterly heedless. وَلِلَّهِ الْأَسْمَاءُ الْحُسْنَى فَادْعُوهُ بِهَا. The most beautiful names belong to Allah, so call on Him by them. وَذَرُوا الَّذِينَ يُلْحِدُونَ فِي أَسْمَائِهِ. This is very interesting. But shun those who deviate in His name. So it looks like there is an idea of shunning away from divine names. سَيُجْزَوْنَ مَا كَانُوا يَعْمَلُونَ. For what they do, they will soon be punished. So now when I hear this, I should say, oh, what do you mean? All beautiful names belong to Him. And He even further says, there are those, or shun away from those, who deviated in His names. Oh, what does it mean that you can deviate in God's names? Which we can take something from the previous verse about this. This is one example, inshallah, we will study next week. just to put them over here so that you think about it. This is from Surah Al-A'raf, verse numbers 179, 180, if you can remember. And then, Ulidullah Abidur Rahman. Say, call upon Allah or call upon Rahman. أيام ما تدعو فله الأسماء الحسنى. Whatever name you call upon him, for to him belong the most beautiful names. ولا تجهر بصلاتك ولا تخافت بها وابتغي بين ذلك سبيلا. Neither speak your prayer aloud nor speak it in a low tone, but seek a middle course between. Again, a very interesting verse. This is the almost the last verse, second from last verse of Surah Al-Isra, if you would like to take a look at this. And my third verse for next week will be the very beginning of Surah Taha. This is related to the previous one also. So Taha, ما أنزلنا عليك القرآن لتشقى إلا تذكرة لمن يخشى تنزيلا ممن خلق الأرض والسماوات العلى. Taha, we have not revealed unto you this Quran that you should be distressed, but as a reminder unto him who fears. This is not taqwa, this is yakhsha. A revelation from him who created the earth and the high heavens. Ar-Rahmanu ala al-arshi istawa. Now the names start coming again. The beneficent one, the merciful one, who is established on the throne. له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض وما بينهما وما تحت الثرى. Unto him belongs whatsoever is in the heavens and whatsoever is in the earth and whatsoever is in between them and whatsoever is beneath the soil. وإن تجهر بالقول فإنه يعلم السر وأخفى. And if you speak aloud, now remember the previous verse, the last verse that I mentioned in the previous slide. And if you speak aloud, then indeed he knows the secret and that which is even more hidden. وإن تجهر بالقول فإنه يعلم السر وأخفى. الله لا إله إلا هو له الأسماء الحسنى. Allah, there is no God save him. His are the most beautiful names. So these are three different sets of verses that I would like you to think about, inshallah, for next week. What is divine names? How is this different? Like once Quran starts introducing them to me, what is new? This should be our approach. Because especially if you are reading Quran, after some point, it just becomes like you get accustomed to it. And which might itself become a hindrance for our understanding or appreciating it. What does divine names mean? What does it bring to me uniquely? What does it bring to table, as we would call it? And by mentioning all beautiful names belongs to God, what is that? And in the light of three previous descriptions, let's think about ghayb in here as well. What was the first description? Universe as a book. The second one, universe as a speech, a tongue. The third one, Quran was introducing ghayb to us, not only shahada, but also ghayb, another aspect of this realm. Now in the fourth one, we are studying divine names. Quran is revealer of divine names, which are hidden treasures. I'm narrating our description. Hidden treasures in heavens and earth. Divine names are hidden treasures in the heavens and earth. What does this mean? So inshallah, let's discuss this next week. Yes, there is something there.
Back to the
Right, okay.
I was actually thinking of the Shahada when we say Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. That is a conclusion in the faith, right? Like we're making a conclusion about the faith, but we're calling it the Shahada, and like we're saying Ashhadu, which is that connected to like I guess you've been using Shahada to mean the faith, and saying Ashhadu in the Shahada, even though the conclusion is in the like.
So they conclude based on
That's
what you see. Otherwise, just repeating the word, like it words, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, doesn't mean much. you see something in the creation and say that, oh yeah, I believe now. That is the message. That's what I understand.
In this sense, there is a quote referred to Imam Ali. He says, if the veil of the unseen, ghayb, were to be revealed, my certainty wouldn't increase. Because what you observe gives you so certainty that you say, must exist. I am so sure about it. So my certainty about the unseen, because it's undefinable, but based on what I experienced here. So in this sense, this was a good question. Like shahada, it's witnessing, but you are sure as if witnessing. If you were to witness, it wouldn't increase. Like, because it's all based on your witnessing, but what you conclude is not here. Yes.
Your certainty based on what you observe only, or is it based on the taqwa? Because I'm trying to connect the taqwa to the behavior. Because all of these examples, all of us can see these, and even someone who is not having taqwa, or someone, for if you can imagine someone who's hearing the message for the first time, they are not necessarily exposed to this idea of taqwa, but the certainty is coming from the observation or is coming from the taqwa.
So let's again define taqwa. Remember taqwa here. Taqwa is in the daily language, we keep using it something like piety. This, mashallah, this brother is very taqwa. Like he doesn't look anyone. It's not in this sense. But taqwa is, you see something is being done, the baby is being made, and you say, not parents, not carrot, no nothing. There must be someone though. Like the idea of he, there must be a he. This is why Surah Ikhlas starts by saying, Qul huwa. You have the notion of he already. This is why Surah starts by saying, say he is Allah. Then you're not puzzled by which he are you talking about. You were already expecting such a he. So anybody who is not exposed to the message of Qur'an might or shall have this taqwa as well. This is what Ibrahim alayhi salam was doing. Like the example of Ibrahim alayhi salam is so beautiful. There are stages. Quran first introduces Ibrahim alayhi salam to us when he is challenging faith of his father and community, saying that this doesn't make sense. He's troubled. He's saying that things are happening, but what you're suggesting to me is those idols. In our society, how much am I troubled by saying that, oh, it happens because of gravity? If I am troubled by this idol, first I should say, like, what is gravity? Like, what sort of a thing is doing this? It's falling, but you say it is gravity. What is gravity, man? Like, tell me, show me. It's doing an action. Ibrahim was first uncomfortable or troubled with this play of words, if you like. Then he said, okay, sun, moon, star. Then he says, there must exist. So he has taqwa. This is why guidance was given to him. As the verses explicitly say this, actually, because of him challenging the society. So coming back to taqwa, so if you have this taqwa, then the doors to unseen or ghayb opens to you, because you are saying that what is being seen in here, if I restrict myself here, it doesn't explain. This is what I'm bothered by. So the notion of taqwa is making it possible to say ghayb must exist. Our example from last week was, I come into this house and I say, oh, the builder of the house must be here. I'm restricting myself with a maker from within the system. Science enters the universe and says, there must be something within the universe which maintains the universe. This is why we come up with genes, we come up with randomness, we come up with natural law. Everything we are trying to explain the system within the system. But taqwa in this case means come on, man, it doesn't explain anything. I'm bothered by this. There must exist something. This is taqwa. That opens the door to say that, oh, there must exist someone beyond this existence. So this God consciousness. That's why it's actually in this sense, God consciousness might be a good translation for taqwa in this sense. And a non-Muslim, somebody who is not exposed to the message, as Ibrahim alayhi salam exemplifies this, would have the seed of it there. And this is what matters. Because revelation becomes guidance for those. This is how Surah Baqarah was starting, right? ذَلِكَ الْكِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. It's guidance for muttaqin. It's not guidance for, I don't know, philosopher who is seeking answer from within the system itself. No, it's not guidance. For them, Quran is a very poorly written literature, probably. Yes.
I'm not sure if this is a comment or a question or both. When we're talking about Imam today, we were talking in the context of like a certain belief, but like certainty. And from my understanding, Iman could also be like weak Iman versus like strong Iman. So it's not, yes, we're saying it's like the certainty, but like even among believers, there's like weakness in Iman, and like as you practice more, as you learn more, gain more knowledge, you like strengthen that Iman. And sort of, I guess my comment is, like in our discussion, we sort of like have like this, oh, first you have like these questions and thinking about like, there must be a maker. And then you have like this taqwa of like, or like this certainty of like, there must be a him, right? But I guess I was wondering about like, especially when I was younger, when I was little, I grew up in a Muslim household. So for me, it was never, especially at the time, it was never about like trying to understand the message or like the question of the message, because my household already told me like Allah, like this is the God we believe in. So I've always already had that belief, oh, Allah exists, like, and then later sort of like had these questions. I don't know if this is a question or a comment. It might be both.
I mean, this is who we are, yeah.
But I was just thinking about sort of like that sort of Iman where you already like believe in Allah, but sort of don't have this understanding or awareness.
Yeah.
And I guess that's sort of like leading into like next week's discussion as well, when you were saying like those who sees but doesn't see, or like those who understand but doesn't understand. And yeah.
So there is a huge spectrum of Iman, huge spectrum of certainty, like how certain I am. It's not black and white, practically speaking. And each event, actually, like he's a friend of mine for more than 10 years. And my certainty about his trustworthiness is increasing or decreasing based on different events. Like I see him, how he treats his daughter. So now I am becoming sure and being convinced about him being merciful, or him not, since the example was about him being trustworthy when it comes to relationship with children. I would say, okay, I can trust my daughter to him as well, because he is taking care of kids. But how about him towards another friend? Like many different facets, because when we say Rahman, what do we mean? Being certain about Rahman means you're being into an interaction with something that involves mercy, which could be a cat feeding a kitten. Then you say, oh, there must exist a merciful creator, right? You're certain. Then tomorrow you see an innocent child is being murdered. Are you still in there? Can you again be certain about the merciful in this event too? It's a new experience. And merciful is there too. Like Rahman is manifesting himself in there too when the child was being murdered. So now, this is what it means to have different levels of certainty. But when it comes to our childhood, like what we learn from childhood, it's a separate story though. Because like we have kids and we are teaching them that there is one God and whatnot. Because this is, they're not that ready for in-depth questioning. There are different levels of questioning. So this was good for them, for her, but still, they're still asking very deep questions, by the way. My daughter doesn't want to grow up, because if she grows up, me and my wife will get old and we will die. A 6-year-old is aware of that. And they say, I don't like this. It's very important. Human is way deeper than we think. But on top of this, we are going through such a secular education, which undoes this very primitive, if you like, iman. It's an iman, but it's a primitive iman. It's not certainty. They take it because their trusted father and mother is saying it. It's a trust, it's a certainty based on trustworthiness of parents. But what happens when you get adolescent? You start questioning everything your parents taught you, right? And now on top of this, your university is saying that, oh, it's just mythology, it's history. Here, genes are doing it, man. We knock off one gene, your eyes become blue. We put another one, it becomes green. Therefore, this gene is doing that act. God, what God? Then you need to establish a more certain conviction now. You cannot rely on what you have learned from your parents. And this is what we are trying to do here. So establishing experiential, if you like, or investigative iman. Maybe we could have called what was there before as an imitative iman, but now it needs to be replaced with, since you're grown up, it needs to be replaced with an investigative iman. Yes.
So we keep saying this. The word Allah is a proper name. By itself, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying something negative with the next sentence. It's just talking about the grammar. The word itself does not mean it. When you say Allah by itself, it doesn't mean it. Just like word Yusuf doesn't mean it.
Or Jonathan.
Or Jonathan.
Use something non-Muslim.
Yeah. Jonathan doesn't mean it. When you say Yusuf is such a person, you're not talking about the word Yusuf. You're talking about what you know about Yusuf. So when you say, I believe in Allah, so she believes in Allah, my daughter. Mm-hmm. What do I mean with that? The word Allah for her is the one who's probably sleeping behind some clouds and who will give us a chocolate fountain when we die. That's what I'm having for Jannah. That's great to know Jannah for her. Chocolate fountain where she will find all the toys she wants, and also her friend Zainab will be there too. She made it certain. So that's what she believes. Is it the same thing when you say Allah? No. When you say, when I was a child, I already believed in Allah, and it gets stronger. It's not that true, right? You believe in something. It was preparing you for believing the proper Allah. Even what you have as a belief in Allah is preparing you for the next level. When you learn more, you would say, oh, what I meant with Allah was actually not so correct or maybe great. It was true, maybe, but not encompassing and so on. Now I believe in Allah. Right? So, again, the child believes in Allah as a preparation. I'm just preparing the land for her, cleaning, get rid of the weeds, so that when she starts questioning, when she says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah for the first time with a meaning, not just mere repetition, then the land is clean. What I could do alternatively as a parent, I could fill her mind with all these nonsensical, secular, nationalistic explanations. She asked me how why it is warm today. I could fill her mind with the angle of the sun and so on and so forth, make the land dirty. And then when she starts questioning, she wouldn't be able to say La ilaha illallah that easy. I'm just cleaning the land. I'm not me, but she is just cleaning the land. This is the preparation. And you can apply it to every stage of yourself. When you say, I believe in Allah, you should say, I believe in something to the extent I understand from Quran and on my experiences. But tomorrow, inshallah, I will have a belief in a better way. When I say Allah, I mean something else, something better.
And this is why in Quran, whichever page or even a verse you open, it will introduce La ilaha illallah from a different angle. It's not like, well, I already know it. Because whatever you see in this existence uniquely introduces La ilaha illallah to you in a different way. That's why it's a lifelong journey. So what you have learned so far needs a huge deal of update. Initially, it sounds a little intimidating, but actually, this is life itself. This is why you are being given life, and it will continue for the rest of your life. But at least to make, if you like, a paradigm shift, now is a good time to start or continue converting our imitative iman to an investigative iman, or using the terminology that we established in this class, migrate from English word belief to Quranic term iman, or just wishful thinking to conviction or certainty, the proper meaning of iman in this sense. So Quran is introducing us the existence in all these different facets as we are layer by layer now opening up as a book, as a speech, with ghayb, and inshallah next week we will start discussing divine names. And it took too long, sorry about that. We had an extra half hour. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعواهم أن الحمد لله رب العالمين الفاتحة